Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Oakley Podcast. I am your guest host for this week. My name is Megan Cummings, and I'm joined with Tony Hollingsworth and Dustin Eagle. We're conducting a little bit of what did I call it before the camera started rolling? An exit interview?
Yeah,
perhaps.
Good.
Yeah.
A used semi-truck is a great way to kick off your career as an owner-operator on a budget, and buying from a reputable dealer like Aero Truck Sales ensures you're getting a reliable truck that fits your needs. They carry trucks from all the major manufacturers in the trucking industry and perform a thorough inspection of every truck on their lot to ensure safety and quality and give you confidence that you're getting a reliable truck that will last you for years at a price that you can afford. Being a longtime partner with Oakley Trucking and the Oakley Podcast, we trust them to provide our owner-operators with a truck that fits their needs and matches our qualifications. So whether you're a first-time owner-operator or just looking for a new-to-you rig, be sure to give Keith Wilson and Trey Visor a call at 573-216-6047 and let them know you heard it here on the Oakley Podcast.
So we're going to talk to Tony today with the help of his recruiter, Dustin Eagle. Tony, give us a little intro.
I'm Tony Hollingsworth. I've been here for almost 6 years. Had a little medical problem about a month ago. Had a heart attack in Amarillo. And due to doctors and doctor's appointments, I'm going to have to leave. So not a decision that I wanted to make, not the outcome I wanted, but it's what life gave me, so here we are, you know.
At least we're not leaving on bad terms.
No.
Right?
This is home. This will be home. I'm going to try to sneak into the company party this year.
Absolutely.
Even after I'm gone, I'm, just see if I can't blend.
That's what they're there for.
Yeah,
Without a doubt. You'll be able to blend, no problem.
Maybe nobody will throw me under the bus or something. Tony's sitting over there in the corner.
Okay, so almost 6 years. Do you remember, what were you doing before you came to Oakley?
I drove, I hauled liquid CO2. So, pulled a liquid or tanker. Yeah.
Were you a company driver?
Yeah, company driver.
Was Oakley your first owner-operator?
No. I've owned a truck more than I've driven a company truck. But I tried the company truck thing, and I like to be more hands-on.
Yeah.
And I like for my truck to be in my driveway and me to be able to work on it or play with it or, and companies don't typically like you to add lights to their truck, or that type of stuff. So me and my wife decided that I was going to buy a truck, and we were coming to work at Oakley. It's the only place I mentioned to her. I've been seeing them for years before I came to work here. I live in Mississippi, and they've been huge in Mississippi for years. So
for a long time.
Yeah.
I can't believe it's been 6 years, because I remember like it was yesterday. Tony called me because I'm going to stop by the yard. Mm-hmm. I said, come on, man, we love for you to stop by and talk. And I remember him pulling up in the back lot back there, and you had your air gas trailer
trying to
with
hide
you,
the truck. Yeah.
trying to hide everything, and had a great talk. And Tony, I think he pretty much decided then he was going to buy a truck and come to Oakley. And I remember you actually bought a truck from one of the owner-operators that worked there.
Yeah, he got a new truck. I bought that truck pretty much sight unseen. I told my wife, all I need is a truck and a chance. I don't have to have the big fancy truck, to start out with. I just need a seat to sit in. And that's exactly what I bought. I mean, I bought a $25,000 seat,
That's exactly right. Something to get started with.
Yeah. Basically, I had to borrow the down payment to come to work here. And they told me I needed a windshield on one side of that truck. I had to put it on a credit card. I'm freaking out because I just bet the Ponderosa on this working out, But I had faith in here, and I knew as long as I was given the opportunity, I could make it happen,
And you started out pulling an end dump.
Yeah, I started out with end dump. I did end up 4.5 years.
End up for a while.
Yeah, and
I remember when you swapped over to tank.
Yeah. Swapped over to tank. I enjoyed tank. I still missing a piece of my heart with the end dump. That really fit me. Like, that's a lifestyle kind of thing, I guess is the best way to put it. But
did you just want to try out, just spread your wings and try the tanks?
Okay, so I drove the $25,000 truck for 9 months, and I worked on it every hour I was at home on the weekends. And mine and Jessica's date, we had one date a week when I went home, and that was Saturday morning going to the Kenworth dealership to buy parts to work on the truck the rest of the week, until it was time to leave out on Monday. But I mean, that's what you get with a $25,000 truck. I'm not complaining, I mean, it's.
Yeah.
I knew I was going to have to work on it every weekend to make it work the next week. But in 9 months, I had enough money saved up to buy a 3-year-old W9. I mean, and work on that one. So. She told me it was time for me to find a truck because she was tired of our date day being the ride to Kenworth, on Saturday morning.
Can't say that I blame her for that.
Yeah, I know. But, I mean, I've changed brake chambers laying in the driveway in the pouring down rain with her with an umbrella over the top of it, She was a team player. But we bought the truck I've got now. I've had it 5 years, I guess, right? Yeah, 5 years. And it was nicer than the other truck, and I was doing stuff and
just a tad.
And I sported the scrap yards for years in that truck, but I just kind of decided I wanted to change,
and it's just a testament of saying, I know this is what this job requires.
Yeah.
We'll start here and then work our way up. And
if you want to work and you have a will to work, there's no reason you can't make it here. I mean, you have to be self-motivated, though, because there's nobody here that's going to call you every morning to wake you up or tell you got to go do something, I mean, you got to have the hustle in you. It also helps if you have a little ingenuity that you can do some of the work yourself, I mean, that's probably a whole nother podcast that I probably won't be a part of. But, there's every different realm here. You don't have to be the old school guy that rides around with a shop in the side of his truck like I am, There's other drivers here that don't hardly check the tire pressure in their tires. They take it to the shop to get it done. There's nothing wrong with either one. It's got to get done. You just have to decide whether it's going to be you doing it or you're going to pay to have it done, And I enjoy working on my truck. I mean, that's kind of a hobby, like having an antique car or something, So it doesn't bother me, but, I've got friends that they go home, they drop their truck off at the shop. It doesn't matter what it needs. The shop does it, They get 7 miles to the gallon, and I get 4.5. So, I mean, it offsets that a little bit, too. So that's my argument when they say, well, your truck doesn't get fuel mileage. Well, your truck only stays at the shop when it goes home. Mine sits in the driveway, and I get to work on it myself. So.
Yeah.
But,
do you have what do you think about when you think of a highlight reel for your time at Oakley? Are there any parts of it that stand out to you particularly?
I don't know. It goes by fast. I mean, it really does. Like, in a way, I feel like I've been here half my career,
Right.
And then in a way, like I said, when you think about it, it's like I almost made 6 years, but I've met some of the best people I've ever worked with here. I mean, the drivers, the people in the office. When Dustin brought me in the office for my little walk-around deal, they were in the old office, and they had, I'm going to say 100 people. I might be wrong on that.
Pretty close.
But it was desk butted up to desk all the way from one side, and the size of a football field. And you could hear a pin drop when I walked in that office, and I'm like, there's no way this place is this quiet all the time. They have to be doing this because I'm in here, Like, there's no way there's, this much quiet, with dispatcher. You got 3 divisions, and then the commodities was there. So they're speaking different languages, selling stuff all over the world,
I told him you was coming in to do that, by the way.
Oh, yeah. I figured that, and that's, it was, it just blew me away that there was that many people in an office, and it was that everybody's on the phone, and it was that quiet. And I'm like, there's no dispatchers yelling at a driver. I mean, how do you have this many trucks and there's no dispatcher losing his mind on a driver, And then when I came to orientation, we were doing orientation in that same building. And, I mean, you walk in the morning, everybody's talking, but it's quiet, all day long. And it just blew me away that you could put 100 people in that enclosed area and everybody get along, for one. and be that quiet. You know, I don't know. That's always blown me away. You know, I mean, I don't.
You
know.
think it's any louder in the new office?
No. It's
Really?
not. Yeah, but it's divided. You know, you don't see a quarter of the
I
people.
think
Maybe
it
we
goes
just
to
hear
show
it all day.
we got a lot of great people in the office.
Mhm.
We got a lot of great owner operators.
Mhm.
Yeah, we don't have to yell at our
Yeah,
at our
I mean,
truck.
and I know that's probably not the right
Yeah.
way of putting it, but it just, I just assumed you had 100 people in an office, you'd have to have more noise than that, you know.
I think that's one of the things that I'm always so impressed about is how highly that the drivers speak about their dispatchers. It seems like they all have
Yeah.
a really close relationship. Christmas gifts, birthday gifts.
So I've had 3 dispatchers in my time here. I had Scotty when I first started. Scotty would run your wheels off. Scotty was the reason I had the money for a down payment on the truck in 9 months. He asked me how hard I want to run. I told him as hard as he could run me. And we were a team, buddy. I mean, I barely made it home on Friday afternoon to work on that truck till Monday morning. You know? But, and then Scotty got promoted, moved up, and I got Peyton. And I didn't even think Peyton had graduated high school yet. I mean, like, you know.
He's a junior this year.
Yeah. I mean, you know, and it was right when COVID had started. So I'm not saying he got thrown to the wolves, but he had to learn in a field that nobody had ever done before. I mean, because COVID, I mean, I've never seen anything like that in my life. I've been out here for 28 years, going on 28 years. Never have I ever driven through Atlanta midday and not hardly seen another car or truck on the road, you know, or Chicago, or, you know, I mean, it was a weird time. And he picked it right up. I mean, we got along great, you know. He run me like I asked to be run, got me home when I wanted to be home. And then when I swapped over to the VAC, I had Austin, and me and Austin got along great. I mean, you know, the VAC was a little different than the end dump. It's a lot slower paced. I felt like I was going very much in slow motion the first couple months, you know, because end dump is pretty high paced and high stress. And I'm not going to say stressed, but you feel like you're running a half hour behind all day long because something's going to happen during the day, and you're going to be, you know, you're going to be a half hour from making your delivery, or you're going to be a half hour from making your deadline, you know. The tank side's completely different. You got a scheduled appointment, and you just have a date, you know.
Right.
Be there on the 2nd of April, you know, and it doesn't matter if it's midnight or noon, you know. I mean, you just be there on that day, you know.
And you have to have 2 years of tank experience before, right?
You have to have, no, not
Okay, so
tank experience. To hire straight into tanks, you got to have some prior experience, but we like to swap them over from tanks within the company.
Okay,
we want you
so
to have at least 6 months experience pulling a hopper or a dump first.
Okay, 6 months.
And then we can talk about it.
Do you think that's a good timeline?
Yeah, I
do you think
do.
you need more training before that?
So, and I'm not trying to make it sound like I'm any better than anybody else, or anybody on tank is any better than anybody on hopper. I don't mean it that way, but it does take a special breed to be on tank because of the patience you have to have, and a lot of drivers just don't have they don't like to sit. And there's sit time with a tank. I mean, it is what it is.
That's the mentality. If you ain't rolling them wheels, you
You're
ain't
not
making no money.
And you have to change that. And it took me. I mean, that was the first couple of weeks was hard. I mean, you're getting paid for sitting, you know, but the back of your mind, you're still telling yourself, I got to go. I got to go.
Yeah.
I got to go.
Well, if you're used to that for
Yeah,
years and years.
And end dump is the opposite. You don't really sit. I'm not going to say you don't get them here and there, but typically you're in and out, you know. I mean, if you get out of my way, I can be out of here in 15 minutes, you know. I mean, you just show me where you want this load, and I'll be gone in 15 minutes. And a lot of places we go within dump is like that. I mean, you know, you're liable to be at some farmer's field with a load of DDG that nobody's even there. They tell you put it in bin 4, you know, and you leave the bills in the toolbox on the tractor. You know, I mean, we do a lot of nursery stuff like, you know, rock or different kinds of gravel or sand, you know, and I've had a bunch of them. I would call them early and say, hey, it's going to be about 8:30 before I get to town. Is there any way you could tell me how to get in, or I could dump over at night? And they'd put a cone in the bin they want you in and tell you the combination of the lock on the gate. You know what I mean? You know, so the end dump is a little more independent, but you're always, that 30 minutes you saved now goes a long way on the end dump. On the tank side, not so much. It's you just, I don't know. It's just slower paced. You have to get used to it. That's all I can say is you have to get used to it. It's not a, don't just jump in it.
I know you've made a lot of lifetime friends here at Oakley.
Yeah.
I mean, I just know from talking to you, talking to everybody. Everybody knows Tony Hollingsworth.
Oh, yeah.
You know? Good or bad, everybody knows Tony Hollingsworth.
Probably more bad than good, but it is what it is.
But you know, I want to speak to you as the recruiter that brought you in, man. I know it's unforeseen circumstance that you got to leave Oakley, but you've done a great job for us, and
I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
I know you've been a lifetime. You know, you're going to be a lifetime friend to me for sure.
Yeah.
And this company.
Yeah, I feel like this is home. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
I even being here today, you know, I don't even feel like this is going to be my last time here. You know,
it better not be.
Well, I mean, and that's, you know, it gets hard because you talk about the drivers coming into the office. Like, I come into the office, it can take me an hour to come in the office and leave because I stop and talk to you, I stop and talk to you, I stop and talk to the one that's not behind the camera.
That's right.
You know, and by the time I make it to my dispatcher's desk at the very end of
You've already missed a load by then.
Yeah, I've already, yeah. He's like, where were you at 2 hours ago, you know? Because I talk. I mean, I talk. I like to talk. I like to have friends, you know? I mean, and I like to be here, you know? I mean, I feel welcome when I walk in the door. I don't feel like I've never had anybody call me by anything but my name here, you know?
Right.
And it doesn't matter if I talk to them once a day or once a year. Everybody here has always known my name when I walk in and have be addressed by somebody. And that's something you don't see in the trucking industry is you get a number, you know, or they have to look you up, you know, and I have people here that knows me that I don't know their name.
Well, we always say Oakley's a big family here.
It is.
Nobody knows that till they come.
Yeah, it is. And
It's really easy
really
to say
is.
that.
Yeah.
You know, of course.
is.
Of course, you're going to say that whenever you want me to leave.
Well, and that goes back to the whole deal where I was talking about everybody, you know, how quiet it was. It was, you've got to be a family to get along like that, you know. I mean, they're like, I don't know. Everybody's just.
And as a true family, we're all going to have bad days where we, you know, that's what a family does.
Yeah.
I don't ever have a bad day. I don't know what you're talking about.
But 5 minutes later, we're back to being family. So, you know.
Yeah, you know, it just, I don't know. I've never had an issue here. I mean, even with safety. I mean, I don't. You know, I mean, we got everybody hates the cameras. You know. When we got the new style camera, when I first came to work here, the camera didn't hardly do anything unless you just hit something or hit the brakes really hard. It's the only time it activated. This one, you know, I mean, it does read speed limit signs, and, you know, I don't know. I don't really see it as a bad thing, I guess. I mean, there's sometimes you don't realize the speed limit dropped, you know. You're watching traffic, and you can miss a speed limit sign. I'm not taking up for the cameras, but it has told me to slow down, and I realized, well, I missed the speed limit sign, you know. That probably might have saved me a ticket, you know.
You know, before we came up here, speaking of safety, you were saying how you've only ever had two calls from safety.
Throw me under the bus for that. So, yeah,
they were good calls. But don't you think that having a good attitude about stuff like that really makes a difference?
Yeah.
I mean, makes it easier to stomach?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and talking about having the 2 calls from them. I mean, when we first got these new cameras, nobody was used to it telling you to slow down or telling you you're following too close. Or there was a lot we had to get used to with these new cameras in the truck because they didn't turn the volume off on them at first, you know. And there were a lot of unhappy drivers because they had a camera yelling at them all day long to back off or slow down or, you know. If you just, and I'm gonna get raked over the coals for saying this, but if you just do what the camera tells you to do, it won't talk to you anymore. I mean, if you make sure you're not riding up on somebody or not speeding, the camera doesn't say anything, you know. I mean, it doesn't.
It's what it's there for.
Yeah, you know, and I don't speed. I make good money here, you know. I mean, and that's not a bragging thing, but I don't have to run 5 over the speed limit to make a good check here. You know, I run 65 to 68. I mean, I don't even know how fast my truck will go. Honestly, it doesn't matter to me. I run 65 to 68. I don't follow too close. I've got a hood out in front of me. I can't see you if you're 40 feet from the front of my truck. So I make sure you're 60 feet in front of me because I don't need it, you know. I mean, there's no reason. I'm not going anywhere any faster regardless how close I am to you. So why put you in a blind spot where I'm having to guess whether you're hitting the brakes or not? It just doesn't make sense to me. Not saying that the old Tony, you know, back when I first started driving, I used to think you had to run nose to tail at 100 mile an hour everywhere. But life has taught me that if you got to run like that to make a living, you need to find another place to make a living at, you know.
Oakley Trucking is a 100% owner-operator company. We specialize in hopper bottom, end dump, and pneumatic trailers. We provide the trailer free of charge, and you provide the truck. We have a large customer base that reaches the whole United States as well as parts of Canada. Our owner-operators live anywhere from Texas to North Carolina to Pennsylvania to Wisconsin and everywhere in between, and we get them home weekends. We take it seriously when you join Oakley Trucking because we need you to be successful. Oakley offers great benefits and competitive mileage pay, so you know that when your wheels are turning, you're generating money no matter if you're loaded or empty. We understand that you want to make a good living and that you make our living. We only take on independent contractors, and to be honest with you, we are very particular on who we lease on. You must have a good driving record, good work history, and clean, dependable truck. So if you're interested in Oakley Trucking or just want some more information, you can go to oakleytrucking.com, listen to our weekly podcast, The Oakley Podcast, and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
So speaking of making money and being very happy, do you remember when you spoke with Dustin, do you ever remember thinking this is too good to be true?
No, Dustin, I'm going to say he undersells it, honestly. He has to give an average, you know, and we'll go back to what I said about it's up to you how much money you make. I can't tell you that you're going to come here and make $10,000 a week because it's just not possible, you know. But if you're willing to work, the work is there, you know. Obviously, everybody has a slow time here and there or a week or whatever. You know, it is trucking, you know. But
that's what I always tell guys. Half of it's up to you.
Yeah, it is.
It really is.
And you know, you have to work as a team with your dispatcher, and communication is 90% of that. You can't show up at your delivery, dump, and then call your dispatcher and tell him, I'm empty, where do I go now? You know, he's got 40 or 50 other drivers he's got to deal with, you know. I mean, yes, he can pull you up at any given time on the computer and see where you're at, but he'll know where you're at if you call him and tell him, you know. And it doesn't take 30 seconds out of your day to call him and say, hey, man, I'm an hour out. I'll call you when I'm empty, you know. He's probably got a plan for you, or pretty close to having a plan for you anyway. And I really feel like that's a lot to do with the success of the drivers that I've met here, the ones that call and keep in contact.
Communication.
The ones that keep communication with their dispatcher tend to do a little better than the ones that don't. And I've run into both fields. I've seen some of them that just get fighting mad because their dispatcher didn't have something the second they called them. You know, and I'm like, well, did he know you were here? Well, he knew where he sent me yesterday. You know, well, he knew where he sent 50 other trucks yesterday too. And, you know, I mean, I don't know. I like to call an hour or so before out. Of course, with the pneumatic, you're going to be a couple of hours getting unloaded if you pull up and go to unloading right now. So that's a whole different world. But with the end dump, every minute counts. And if you can give him an hour of heads up, you know, that's an hour he has to look for something or make sure he's got something nailed down for you, you know. And I rarely sat. I mean, when I got unloaded, I would call in and they would tell me where to head to, you know. And I liked it that way. I mean, and if I got to call him one more time a day than you do, and I get a load and you have to wait, then that proves to me that calling him matters, you know.
Right. You think you'll, if you decide to mosey on back over here in the future, do you think you'll stick with the vac tanks or you'll go back to end dumps?
Probably vac tank. I mean, I've already got the blower. I mean, which I've got the wet kit too. I kept it too.
There you go.
Speaking of the
It's really
future, everybody knows Tony's leaving by now.
Yeah.
He has to for some personal reasons, but what's next for Tony?
I think I'm going to try hauling wood chips.
Are you?
I've got some friends of mine that have been doing it a few years. Gave me some numbers to call, you know.
Keep you closer to home?
Yeah, there's a lot of that action going on around the house. It's an industry, part of the industry I've never paid attention to. You know, I mean, I see them go by. You know, I live 12 miles from a paper mill. I see them go by all day, every day, and hadn't never even looked at them twice. And then talked to a couple friends of mine, and you know, they said they're happy doing it, and we've worked together at other places, so I know, you know, we work alike. So, yeah, I mean, that's what I'm gonna try. I mean, it might work out, might not. I mean, I might end up with another end dump behind my truck, hauling local. I don't know. I mean,
y'all heard it here first. I give him a year and he'll be back at Oakley.
I wouldn't be gone if it was up to me.
So.
So yeah, I wouldn't be gone if it was up to me.
Man, just go get better, and we wish
you
the best of luck in everything you do.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, I don't want to go, you know. I mean, but I don't want to hold Oakley and me up too. I
just thought it'd be a cool story. We tried to get you on for 2 or 3 years now, and you kept telling us no.
You know what made the difference?
No.
What made the difference was he had someone else asking him.
Okay.
That's what it was. Corey was like, I don't know. We've tried to get him on the podcast for a while, and I was like, let me handle it.
Well, I was shocked. I mean, I was driving home yesterday, and you called me and asked me if I could do the podcast, and I'm like, I'm leaving tomorrow.
I was like,
sure
I have a small favor.
Am I the one, really?
It's good for everybody to hear your story, and, you know, someone that doesn't want to leave, that's leaving, say everything you're saying about Oakley and that we're saying about you, too.
Yeah.
We want people to understand that we really care about our drivers here.
Yeah, I mean, so I've gotten a call once a week anyway, probably more than that, but just to check on me. That trailer's been at my house for a month and a half, and not once has somebody called me and want to know when my trailer's going to be home, you know. You know, and I mean, it cost Oakley a lot of money for that trailer to be at my house. I mean, that trailer makes a lot of money, and that weighed on me while I was at home, you know. I mean, I don't want y'all's trailer sitting in my house anymore, and y'all want y'all's trailer sitting in my house not doing anything. But, you know, nobody ever once called me wanting to know when my trailer's coming back. You know, they called to see how I was doing. You know, that's the only question that was asked is, how are you feeling? How are you doing? You know.
You kind of take for granted how close you get with people that you talk to every day or even every few weeks. You know, you got a real relationship with people. And it's like, that's a member of my family that's sick or that's leaving, you know, or retiring or whatever the case may be. And it takes a toll on you. If I would have known the emotional turmoil that the job held, I might have reconsidered. I feel like my heart's been broken a time or two by you guys leaving. Well, not that it was your choice. I understand that, but but yeah, it really does.
I've been a heartbreaker my whole life.
You do. You.
That's got to make the highlight. Yeah. That's my legacy.
Yeah,
I'm leaving my legacy.
Best quote we've ever had on the show, there.
Yeah.
That's the next viral clip. But yeah, you get close to people and you just you don't realize it until it's a situation like this, and then it's like, well, that really hurts my feelings a little bit. Makes me sad, you know.
I know. I was looking forward to coming up here, but it was bittersweet because I didn't want to come up here for the reason that I was coming up here. You know, and I could stay up here all day. I mean, I spent an hour when I got here in the shop talking to all the guys.
We just got a couple hours left. Might as well.
Well, I know. I might spend the night, be here in the morning.
Yeah.
You know?
Sounds great.
I might talk somebody into letting me in the driver's lounge so I can get my last shower.
Yeah, there you go.
You get your money's worth.
Yeah, watch TV tonight. Yeah, I mean, it's the whole place is that way. I mean, I go out to the wash bay. I laugh, joke, cut up with the guys in the wash bay. I've seen some of them ride the bus in the morning that really wanted to make a difference in their life, and now they work here full time. You know, I mean, and you know, we've developed friendships. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, in the shop, in the wash bay, in the office. You know,
It's
I mean,
you make those relationships too with our customers.
yeah,
I mean, you
yeah,
can go places where they call
that
you by
means a
name.
lot. Yeah, that means a lot too. Is the attitude on the job. Yeah, I mean, that gets you a long way sometimes. I mean, if
Yeah.
you show up with a bad attitude, they don't want to deal with you. They don't care if you sit in your truck for 6 hours or not.
How many hats have you got out of me over the last
Man,
6 years for them
dude,
customers?
Dude, yeah, I know.
We're gonna send you the bill for that next month.
Yeah, well, I'm going to get some before I leave today.
I'm fixing to drive down to
Yeah, I'm-
Mississippi, and I think he's
yeah.
got a closet full of hats
Yeah,
down there.
yeah, I'm gonna leave with some swag today.
Yeah,
Yeah, hats and mugs, and I was thinking about that last night. I had my driver appreciation mug. I was drinking out of last night. I said, "Boy, I'm gonna miss getting these once a year." But yeah, I've gotten a lot of hats from you, man, and there's a lot of customers we go to that ask for them. They collect those hats, like I mean, and it means something to them when you give them one.
Yeah.
Hey, what color hat do you have? What color hat do you have? You know, and I mean, it's like trading cards or something. And
Yeah.
you get an operator that's going to load you, and you give him a hat. He, you know, a lot of them they hustle for you. You know, I mean, like I said, it's a hat to us, but it's something to them. You know,
Sure.
I mean, it's and we laugh and joke about it. I mean, don't get me wrong, but customer relation. If you don't have a customer, you don't have a job.
Yeah.
You know, and that's with Oakley, and that's with you,
Right.
because Oakley's not going to keep sending you to a customer if you can't get along with a customer. I mean, I hope that's public knowledge, but, you know, you represent Oakley. You represent yourself.
Some great advice.
Yeah.
For somebody wanting to lease on or come over to Oakley.
Yeah. Do you have any other little nuggets of truth?
Oh, I don't know. I got a lot of.
Any
we
other
don't-
Tonyisms?
Oh, I don't know about Tonyisms. You're probably going to get in trouble with that. No, I mean, attitude is most everything. I mean, it really is. And Oakley's got a dress code. You know, I get tickled. We always get an email in the summertime that flip-flops and shorts are for the beach, not for work, you know. We've been getting that email since I came to work. You know, I'm not a flip-flops and shorts guy. Even at home, I'm not a flip-flops and shorts guy, so it doesn't pertain to me. But people do look at how you dress, whether you want to think that or not. When you pull up at a customer, even your truck, and I'm not saying you have to have a show truck, but a clean truck gets attention.
Those first impressions.
Yes, and you get out of a clean truck and you look presentable, you know. I'm not saying you have to wear $200 shirts, you know, but wear nice clothes. I mean, we make money here, you know. You don't have to wear a holy T-shirt, you know. I mean, we make money here, you know. And I have no problems wearing nice clothes at a job that I make good money and I'm happy to be at, you know. And the customers recognize that. I'm talking about safety calling me. I had safety call me another time. One of the customers actually called and told them that they appreciated their driver showing up in a nice truck and dressed nice.
And who were they
And
talking about?
I guess me.
Tony Hollingsworth.
If you'd have seen where I had to back in at, like this was down in Miami. I took a load of oh crap, what was that? I don't even remember now what it was. It was lightweight. I took a load of lightweight down to this little place in Miami. This guy makes the little pads for you to put your air conditioning unit on in his backyard. And I get down there, and he's got a little strip that you got to back down, blind side back down beside a canal into his backyard. So I get backed in there, and by the luck of God, because, I mean, I'm telling you, this place was tight, you know. And, of course, he wants to talk, you know, and tell me all about his little operation here. You got to listen to him for a minute, you know. I mean, it's part of customer relations, you know. And, I mean, he gets one load every 3 or 4 months. He is not a big customer. But he's just as important as the rest of them, you know, to me. I mean, so I get backed in down there. He wants to talk. I leave. You know, I talked to him probably 20 minutes. He told me how he make these little pads and, you know. Half hour later, I get a phone call, and he had called the office and told the office, I just wanted to let y'all know I really appreciate the nice equipment that y'all send, that, you know, y'all drive. And that driver was dressed nice. He was professional, you know, and that meant something to me, you know. I mean, that it wasn't just it let me know somebody was paying attention to the job that we do. You know, it wasn't just I'm doing it because I want, you know, I think it looks cool thing.
And that's
you know?
a testament to what you said earlier about people really do pick up on that stuff.
They do.
They pick up on nice equipment, how you carry yourself, how you present yourself, your attitude.
And this is a dirty job, and it doesn't matter if you're hopper, if you're pneumatic, or if you're in dump. It's a dirty job. I mean, you're outside in the weather, especially pneumatic, more so than the other two. If it's raining, you're standing in the rain while you're getting unloaded or you're getting loaded, you know. In dump is you're going to have whatever you're hauling pretty much all over you. I mean, it's not an easy job to stay clean or keep your truck clean. But it's worth the extra effort, you know. I mean, I actually got in trouble. Jessica got on to me because we had to have a serious conversation on truck washes. She told me I spent entirely too much money in a year on truck washes. That 2 truck washes a week was entirely too many truck washes. So
Isn't that like a tax write-off or something?
it is, but she said you have to make the money to be able to write it off. And she said two truck washes a week was entirely too much. She didn't care if 1 truck wash a week, just pick the right day. And I'm like, well, the only day to get the truck washed, to keep it clean, is when I'm coming home. So, because it's going to get dirty the next load. It doesn't matter what, you know, unless you're hauling roofing granules, you're going to be nasty. But.
Right.
Well, I appreciate you coming up here and telling your story today.
Appreciate y'all listening.
You're always welcome back. We'd love to have you anytime.
Yeah, I'm still thinking about sneaking into that company party. Yeah.
Oh, you ain't got to
Just look
sneak.
for
You
the
just
big
call
red
me.
tent.
You can come to the company party. We'll settle that right here.
Yeah, I might do that. That's you know, that's one of Jessica's favorite things about is coming to the company party. Like, you know, every year she comes, the wives all seem to get together, and you know, the guys that I run with all, you know, all year long, so to say, we all get together, hang out, and the wives get together, and the wives have a better time than the drivers do. Like, I mean, and then she's got lifelong friends from drivers that are here. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, we go to Alabama and hang out with drivers I've met here. You know, go to their house, spend the weekend, and
That's right.
you know, just I mean, it's like a family. You know, I mean, I've got brothers. You know,
Absolutely.
but yeah, I mean. The company party's worth working here for. I'm telling
Well,
you.
you're formally invited this year. I'll give you that invitation.
Okay.
There we go.
Yeah, that's yeah.
But I also appreciate Megan bringing me back to the podcast. I had to catch the regular host on vacation. He don't invite me up here no more.
It wasn't my choice, Jeremy. I was just told that Dustin was going to be on.
I snuck in here, but I'm back.
We wanted to accommodate Tony, and you
Yeah,
wanted Dustin
yeah.
on here, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, he's the first person I met at Oakley, so yeah.
And look at all the people you've met since.
I know.
That's a testament to
Yeah.
that. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure. We've loved
I've
having
enjoyed
you
it.
here.
And like I said,
You've been an asset.
wish you the best, man.
Yeah.
And good luck to everything. And told you I wasn't going to get emotional on camera, but I'm going to shake your hand on the camera.
Oh yeah.
Tell you.
I don't know.
Good luck to you, buddy.
Thank you,
I'm gonna
sir.
miss you, man.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna miss y'all too. For
Well,
sure.
you're welcome back anytime.
Yeah, I
We'd
might
love
just
to have
call
you.
to aggravate from time to time.
Yeah, come on.
Let's do. Huh.
Come on,
Absolutely.
stop in.
And a side note, if you go to Canada a lot, Megan is the one that you're going to have to deal with to go to Canada.
Have to deal with.
Yeah.
How about have the pleasure of
Yeah,
speaking with?
She's the one that you have the pleasure of calling on the weekend.
Yeah.
And she quits whatever she's doing, playing with cats or taking a nap.
I gotta stop talking. I gotta stop talking about the cats.
But I've been doing Canada most of my trucking career, and I got to say, this is the easiest, without a doubt, I get in and out of Canada
All
here.
right, cut the tape. She's getting too big of a head.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
know,
Wait. Keep going. As you were saying. I'm
Well,
just kidding. I'm kidding. Well, you guys, I know I say this a lot, and it
the
sounds...
internet helps a lot.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
When I started going to Canada, we didn't have the internet. Yeah.
I say this all the time, but you guys really, you make it easy on me. I mean, it's a dream team, but we both help each other out, and all the people that I talk to on a regular basis are pretty stellar. You guys are rock stars.
We're probably done with the whole interview, but I got tickled because I had to pull my logbook, my paper logbook out to come up here.
Mm-hmm.
And when I opened it, a card fell out of it. And it was the card to the broker that we used to use to go into Canada that I had to call on her.
Really?
Yeah, that's how old that card was. When
Holy
I opened
moly.
when I opened my logbook, that card fell out. I'm like, man, it's been like 20 years since I had to call this over.
Just took a trip down memory lane.
One of the brokers at the port of or the border.
Oh, thank God it's not like that anymore.
Yeah, I know. It's so much easier now.
Yeah. All right, Tony, do you have any last words? Any last bits of wisdom to leave us with?
No, just wish everybody luck. And
Well, we
keep
wish
on
you luck.
trucking.
We're praying for you, and
Absolutely.
we want to hear from you. And I actually wasn't joking about the party in October. I really do hope I see you there.
yeah, we'll see if we can't make it.
All right.
Hope
You
you
guys
do.
are always welcome to come up and visit. If you're ever in
Yeah.
Arkansas and you need a reason to come aggravate a couple people, feel free.
Yeah.
I've got a long list of people that you can start with.
And there won't be any repercussions now because I won't have to worry about getting fired.
Absolutely.
you know?
Yeah.
Tell Miss Jessica we're going to miss her too.
Oh yeah. She got tickled that I'm even doing this. So yeah, she was.
It's a nice way to go out with a bang.
Yeah.
You can
She
cross
told me
that
don't
one off
talk
the
so
list.
much. Yeah.
Well, thank you, lovely gentlemen. Thank you, Dustin.
You're welcome.
For
Thanks for
joining
having me.
We're going to send it off to next week with another episode. Hopefully, Jeremy will be back next week. We're not sure. I don't know if he's escaped to the Cayman Islands or where he's at, but I will see you next week on the next episode of the Oakley Trucking Podcast. Thanks for joining us. Subscribe, like, TikTok. Annabelle does a great job. Thanks for joining us.